Hello, Datuk Jake. How are you doing?
I'm good. You can just call me Jake. Just leave the Dato.
Okay, okay, all right.
Yeah.
How has it been for you? I heard that you're super busy with so many things, back-to-back meetings and all. How has it been for you?
Uh, for me personally, like I said, just to echo what you've said, it's just a different way of working. I think uh, as you know, I run Fave in Malaysia, and Fave actually went on to working from home 4 days before the actual lockdown.
Oh,
So we anticipated something like this, and just for safety. So I had a head start. So I got 4 days was great for me to acclimatize with the new norm, as they say. So yeah, it's been pretty chock a block. I guess the word here is discipline. Like, how do you actually discipline yourself to, to get things done? Yeah.
right. So for all friends here who are here in this live show, today we have Datuk Jake from my Fave Malaysia. He's a managing director, and
Mhm.
he's here today to share a little bit about what are their efforts in saving, helping save, if it's not too big a word, some of the retailers, F&B people around in Malaysia, right?
Mhm.
Datuk Jake, thank you for coming here and
Yeah,
sharing.
my pleasure. Mhm.
Uh,
So I think our favor, Fave is e-payment. It's not an e-wallet; it's an e-payment app, which is
okay,
very predominantly very F&B focused.
right.
So with brick and mortar shops all closed during this period, we saw a massive reach by our client base who literally had to shut down. So of course the onus on them to pay salaries and so forth is to me is sort of going to be a huge burden for them. So what we have initiated is actually we have had this product. So it's something called e-card. So Save Our Fave is actually not saving Fave, it's actually saving the merchants. So we got this idea. It's not our own idea. We got this idea from an American company, and we wanted to try to get consumers to purchase, pre-buy, and to spend this post MCO. So in other words, when they purchase something, immediately the merchant gets the money. So to support further, what we did was we omitted any commissions we are making, any MDR we're making during this period, because we wanted them to actually earn the money. So in a short period of 3 weeks, we got more than 300 merchants jumped on board, and because it is a real problem. You have to pay staff, you have to pay, and so yeah, so that's part of our campaign. So that's worked really well. Yeah.
Okay. So what's happening is that means a lot of people are actually pre-buying the vouchers ahead. Am I
Okay,
right?
I'm going to do it live for you here with my phone, so you can actually
Sure,
see. So
sure.
it's actually a no-brainer. So assuming like I'm a big fan of probably Laju Saria or Salad Atelier, so I go into the Faith app here, and there's a segment that says, hang on, let me just get it up.
Okay.
My internet has been acting up because there's a problem with the internet on the submarines knocked down some cables or something like that. So
Oh
anyway,
yeah,
this is,
yeah,
this is I'll just backtrack here. This is our Faith app, as you can see, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So this is an e-card. When you click the e-card,
Right.
automatically it
Dr. Jake, could you get it to the middle a little bit?
yeah,
Ah,
sorry.
yeah. Okay,
Okay.
that's good. That's better.
Okay,
Yep.
so that's the e-card. So when you click on it, you can actually scroll up, or you can search who do you want to buy. So when you click buy now, it gives you
Right.
value. That means you buy 80 for 100, or 75 for 100, or 30 for 50. So you get your savings immediately, and
Right.
then the merchant collects the money straight away. So the next time when you go to the shop, you use the Fave app, you scan the QR code, immediately it deducts that. So that's great for the merchants. They see the money before you even purchase. So that's work
Right.
for us. So Save Our Faith is we are extending even our, the Prime Minister we anticipated the extension of the MCO. In fact, I am thinking that it could go on till the end of May.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
as a precaution, because if you sort of rescind this earlier, many things can happen. People balik kampung and all that, it can spread. We can have a wave two, or rather eradicate it now. So
Yeah.
with this in mind, what we have done is actually, completely abolish any commissions or MDR for the period. as long as the MCO is on. So merchants are signing on. The second thing that we're doing is also before that, if you're a merchant and you are interested, the website is www.saveourfave.com. Just go there and we can launch it in practically one day, and consumers can reach out. We have about 1 million people checking out our apps, so our app, so traffic is pretty good. In fact, before I get on the next thing, we have to say that it's supply and demand. Suddenly the demand of the items have changed. People are looking at bread. People are looking at how do I buy gym equipment? How do I so we've also focused on that very fast and changed the supply to address the demand. The next thing I think that we are talking about is I actually take this COVID as an opportunity to sort of how do you say relook our strategy. One of the most exciting things that we're doing is coming from previously I was in Astro, and I back then we used to host our merchants for Buka Puasa and in the hotels and stuff like that. So and even for Fave during the Ramadan period is a very high season for us in terms of purchase, because we do a lot of Ramadan buffets. So, but this year with this happening, I doubt most of the hotels would also, for safety and hygiene reasons, would want to abstain from a Ramadan buffet. So we've re-engineered the thing, thinking like a consumer, how would I want to do it? Because people would still want to breakfast, they want to have that buffet kind of feel and all that. So we're working with lots of hotels to reverse engineer it, create value sets or 3 to 4 pack sets or family sets, and to deliver it to them. So that's why I said I've been busy chatting with hoteliers the last couple of days and F&B outlets to also help that. So that's another thing that we are working on. And I believe people are sick of eating their own cooking. And as we get into fasting month, and fasting is I fast. So as you get into fasting month, potentially you'd want to sit with your 4 people in the house. If you're 4 or 5 people, breakfast after Maghrib. So that's what we're looking at.
Right. How's the take-up so far on the some of the offers you said, like pre-buying ahead and all? How's the take-up?
Very, very good. Merchants are latching onto it. So consumers are helping, but I guess the other thing that we're looking at is something called delivery, where if you look at Facebook and stuff right now, what's happening is F&B outlets are advertising their own Facebook number, WhatsApp number, and getting people to bank in. So the physical journey is a bit tough. I got to bank in through my online, and then I got to message the merchants. So what we're trying to do is get the merchants on board and just say, look, let them make the payment via the Fave app. You take care of the delivery. So in fact, we're working with a few logistic companies like Lala Move and a few others to deliver. So that's something that we're looking at. One thing, the benefit for the merchant is unlike most companies which charge a very hefty commission for food, almost 30%. So we are not charging that 30%. We're just charging the normal commission of delivery and also maybe a 5-10% commission to the merchant. So they're already making that. So that's the hindrance. Again, like I said, you have to think about how you do things differently. So and gone are the rolling 6-month plans and all that. In fact, every day we are changing our plans and thinking how we can extend this. How do we think like a consumer more? And so it's been tough.
And you mentioned that you all have taken away the commissions by the merchant, right? So basically, like they are getting everything for almost 100%, right? If I'm not mistaken.
So previously, MDR is a merchant discount rate. So when you use your credit card, the merchant pays 2% rate, right? So Fave has a 1% MDR. Even that we've abolished during this period. Potentially, e-cards also a commission we charge during this period if you sell that e-card. I think for e-card you have to think about like how Starbucks actually have the physical thing, but this is just a digital thing, and whenever you purchase it, the money goes in and it's held by Fave. So when you spend it, it's released. So I think this works for the merchant because immediately they see the money upon purchase.
Right,
So
right.
we are not taking any commissions from this for this period because we want to onboard, and our aim is to ensure that they do not close. So that's practically why we have ventured into this path. Yeah.
Okay. We'll just take a few moments to just say hello to all those who have said hello to you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hi, Roslan and Vijay and Sumati. Yeah,
Right. And
yeah.
then Joanne, Honey, and
I
then
know,
a
honey.
few
Yeah,
others coming in. Okay.
yeah.
Radhika, Vijay, and then
Okay.
let me
Hi,
just
guys.
see from
Thanks
Facebook.
for tuning in. Yeah.
Okay. So, what is the take up from merchants on all of this initiative?
For e-cards, we've already seen about 410. My last count
Wow.
today, so 410 merchants. Even big ones like Haagen-Dazs and TGIF and everybody's coming in. Like today, even I was talking about this possibility with the CEO of TGV today. We were
Right.
talking with some leading hotels. So I guess again, like I said, the rules have changed. You know what I mean? Suddenly. It's survival. So when you're in survival mode, you explore everything possible, and also and start to understand that in survival mode, you have to consider, can I go lower on my profits? How do I actually, is if 5% of 100 is still better than 50% of zero? So that's the mentality that I think most of them are already doing. But it's our purpose is very simple because we are so B2B, B2B to C. We have to try to keep our merchants viable as much as possible by offering our services, our new products. Fave predominantly is the Fave Pay cashback model, which depends on cashback is when I buy something, I get cashback on my Fave, and then what happens is I use it in the same outlet, which promotes return. So now, because without the ability to visit physical shops, so that has just gone out the window. So I guess we had to look at other things also for ourselves. To be very honest with you, it has taken a tremendous toll on our revenue. But whatever we are doing now is one, sustainability. Number two is planning for post MCO, because we actually believe that.
Right.
The Prime Minister was talking about the new norm, which is true.
Yes.
How do we
Yeah.
actually address this? So
Right.
we are relooking all our plans also. Yeah.
What are some of the steps that you all are thinking of post MCO?
Yeah, yes, I think it's consumer driven while merchant driven also. I think what has happened is people now understand that we can that it's funny, while we are digitalizing very fast also, we've also moved back to a manual way of reaching out to merchants. I see people WhatsApping the merchant and calling. So I guess we cannot abandon the past so much, but we have to configure, emulgate, or fuse, yesterday and today, and see what's the best for tomorrow. I guess that's what we're looking for. Yeah.
It's so like day to day right now. So many things are changing every day. Right?
Yes,
Like
definitely.
today, the news just came out at 4 o'clock.
We
And
anticipated it right now. But I'm
I thought-
speculating it will not end till after Ramadan, because if I am if I'm the Prime Minister, or if I'm somebody in that position, I'll be thinking like, hey, hang on, if this guy's balik kampung
yes,
for Ramadan, and all it takes is one subcluster to explode the whole thing again, and we'll be in the same predicament. I'd rather bite the bullet now and
Yeah.
continue it as much as possible. I don't think he's going to announce, hey, we are 4 weeks more. He will do it every 2 weeks, and he'll say, hey, you know what, we're extending for 2 weeks, so it won't be so painful. But again, like I said, this is just my way of thinking. Yeah.
That's forward looking lah. Better to anticipate earlier. And I think a lot of from some of the surveys out there going around, a lot of the Malaysian public, they are also they anticipated this, that is going to go longer. But I think there's some it's practical that it's going to possibly go after Raya lah. But they just have to give it out in bite-size info.
So I'm glad you mentioned that because it which also throws a curveball into what's typically the Ramadan and Shawwal mode, right?
Yeah.
So we were talking to merchants also. So in fact, we reached out to people who are selling baju raya.
Right. Right.
They still need
Oh
it.
yeah. Yeah.
It's still necessity. So how do we actually address this? How do
Yeah.
we address cookies? You know what I mean? So and I mean, I wish we could delve into the micro SME, but it's going to be tough because of certain factors. But I did speak with somebody from MDEC today, and the ministry
Right.
is very heavily into investing into online bazaars. So
Right.
that decision should be coming out in a few days, which is great, because some of these people, they work for 30 days during Ramadan, and they can survive post that.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, so that's what we're looking at. So the new norm is like, even post this, I think it's going to be very, very different. I think I was talking with my senior team also, and saying, hey, most of us can work from the house now. You know what I mean? Now, in fact, productivity is times 4, times 5.
Oh.
Although the results, is so different, but we are hustling. I think the word hustle comes a lot now. We're just hustling to try to, So that's the new norm, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people have been talking about this new norm, about the fact that offices, a lot of them will start getting used to having smaller office spaces because people can start working from home.
Definitely.
And as you just mentioned, that the level of productivity has gone up 4 times.
Easily,
In
because we have stand-up meetings every morning with my senior team. So
Right.
Joe, Chen Chao, and we have a very quick meeting, 15-20 minutes. What are we focused on today? And driving in, then disseminating the information to my team. So the first few days, there was a dipstick on how productive you are in a productive sheet and stuff like that. But then post that, I think the trust element needs to come in a lot. I think you need to trust your staff, that they're doing it, and I think that's worked out. So which is a very important factor, which is trust. Like, you got to trust your staff to do the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And companies are forced to do it immediately right now, right? There's
Yeah,
no
yeah, because
they might do.
if this persists, you're going to see a lot of layoffs, and I'm fortunate that Fave has we've done some severe cost cuttings, but no layoffs at all. I anticipate a lot of companies already, starting to configure. How am I going to? If this persists, what am I going to do next year?
Right. Okay, so we have a few more people saying hello. Mani Selvan, and then Usman Yaakob said hi. Enjoy your review very much. And then Vijay Kumar said it's starting to get difficult to get deliveries. Is that true? Deliveries.
Yes. But there are a few companies that have suddenly mushroomed, like Teleport from AirAsia. I was talking to somebody from AirAsia, and they're using the cabin crew to deliver. And yeah, I think the radius now has become a factor. So if you're staying in Bangsa and you want to get stuff from Shah Alam, I don't think that's going to happen. So the radius factor comes into play. But I look at this as opportunity always. I'm saying, hey, what can we do? How can we think differently to not to use the word exploit, but to capitalize on it? So I see a lot of very smart people. One person I like to quote is Brian Liu from Tea Life. I was just chatting with him this afternoon, and the bubble tea business has tanked, but he was very smart. He's telling me the story about how his daughter was making cakes during this lockdown, and she sold 20, and he says, hey, this could happen with bubble tea, and he decided to do it. So I guess that if you start to think differently, and you will start to find the potential in this climate. Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure you have talked to many merchants, right? So what are some different things that some of these merchants are doing? For example, let's say F&B. What have you seen?
I think the number one thing that I've seen is the ability to now suddenly not be so hard set on a certain idea. Now they are starting to think as consumers, because we are myopic. As even me, I can get very myopic working with the same thing. But when they're starting to think as consumers, they're starting to come up with very clever ways to less SKUs in their menu. Maybe, like My Burger Lab came out with a few things that, so I think they're starting to understand, hey, hang on, we can survive, we can sustain if we are smarter about this. So these are some of the ways. Communication, supply and demand, they understand that, how to create the supply and, and to address the demand. They're very focused on understanding that perhaps I can, they're questioning even high commissions by large companies so if I do it myself, is it easier? Is it cheaper? So yesterday I got something delivered by WhatsApp's a merchant, and within an hour I got it. So we are a bit more patient in the situation. We understand, that there's going to be a little bit of delay. So in terms of retail, it's really smart. We at Fave we do also quite a bit of retail, like face masks and stuff. Like within 15 minutes we sold 300 packs. So So I was saying, and I'm thinking to myself, hey, where do I get? I missed the gym. Where do I get dumbbells? And I'm trying to find, and I couldn't find somebody who deliver immediately. So I said, call up my team. I said, guys, you just need to find one guy who's got supply, who can sell to 10 people. So again, like I said, this requires a little bit of manual interaction rather than emails. So I tend to pick up the phone and call people really fast and work things out. Yeah.
Right. What about the hotel line? They have a unique thing because people need to be physically there, right? So how are they?
Sorry. I think what's going to happen for the hotels is, I was just talking to some of them. I think they need to pre-sell staycations. They need to pre-sell and keep the validity for a longer period. That means Jake wants to stay in Four Seasons or maybe Impiana Hotel or what. So I purchase a room rate at rack price, or not rack price, or MCO price, and I am eligible to use it throughout the year. So I guess they need to figure that out, pre-buy. So which is the same thing as we're doing in e-cards. So I was talking to somebody from Four Seasons today, and again, like I said, it's stopped because they're figuring out cost savings. So the staff does not work, the kitchens do not work, and all that. So when you think about that, I think the best way is to pre-buy to support the economy.
Right. Yeah, I think we can do our part, for especially our favorite chains and all, right?
Definitely.
Is anyone staying in hotels right now?
There are some long-term residents. That's what I understand. So because of that, they got to keep certain sectors open. There are also some hotels have been used as quarantine for Malaysians coming back. So yep.
Right. So that's also another alternate use for hotels. So Dato', just a quick sidetrack a little bit, right?
No problem.
One of the things you are doing, you were talking about gyms and barbells, right? So what I know is, like, during the lunch breaks, you used to do your 30 minutes gym, right?
About an hour, yeah.
An hour, yeah. So when did you start doing all of that? Gyms and
I mean, I'm 55 this year, so probably 35 years.
Really?
Wow.
You have been always working out on this, right?
Trying to spend my EPF money, trying to outlive money. I'm still doing it. I still get up in the morning. I like the outdoors a lot, so I like to hike and stuff, but I can't do it. But I got a road bike which I've docked in place, so I cycle. I got some weights. I got some kettlebells. So I'm just so worried that you'll end up putting on too much weight because you'll tend to eat, and also you're less mobile. So got a tracker. I try to get 10,000 steps a day. You just try to keep fit, and like I said, it's a new norm. Suddenly, I'm up at 6 o'clock and I'm cycling and I'm working out with my wife and doing a bit of cooking. So I'm enjoying that.
Right. Okay. So just one of the questions one of the people from YouTube asked earlier is, Fave was formerly known as Groupon before, right?
That's right.
So what are some of the difference between Groupon and Fave now?
Okay, Groupon was, this is before my time, but Groupon was strictly a deal platform. So, you go there to buy deals. Fave has got two elements. One is the deal side, which is the former Groupon, which right now we're actually going back to because of the situation, and also the Fave Pay model. Fave Pay model is a loyalty model. That means assuming I go to your training center, I pay with Fave, and then I get a 10% back, which I can use again for another course.
Right.
So it promotes, return. So, but at this current moment, we're back to the Groupon model. So we relooked it and looking at delivery. So that's the difference, between Groupon and Fave. But the Fave Pay pre-MCO, the Fave Pay was 75% of our business.
Fave Pay,
Yeah.
That means people using. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we have GD Naidu here saying, good to hear Datuk Jake embrace hustling.
I've always been a hustler. I've always been a hustler. I mean, come on. I mean, Central boy, always been a hustler, So you got to hustle. I think those who hustle win, and those who don't, And yeah, again, like I said, I was just doing some slides for my staff this coming Monday and speaking about this. And, I'm a strong proponent of, there is no box, people say think outside the box. I say there is no box. You just need to work with what you have, tools, and try to claw yourself out of it. So I guess, it takes a certain DNA, people on how we have programmed. I'm programmed to survive at any situation, So for me, this is the norm, So I guess I work well in the situation. But what about those who not, like for Faith, there are a lot of first jobbers, So that's why we keep educating them. And it says, hey, hang on, this will pass. But what can we do now? What can we address now? What can we change now? Who are we thinking about? What are the real pain points we can solve? For the customer, for the merchant. So we have to keep re-educating. Yeah.
Okay. And question is, how do you see the word sacrifice between employee and employer and client?
Yeah, I think it's quite generic, the question, but I think what you're trying to ask is how much do we sacrifice between employee? I'll give you an example. For Faith, most of the leaders put up the hand, and the founders took a no pay for 3 months. Most of the senior leaders like me took a 30% pay cut immediately. This is willing, we automatically put up our hands and said, we'll do it. So we're sacrificing for that. It's not we're working less. Like I said, we've quadrupled our productivity. So, but we are not unique to this situation. We understand that, and the whole world is going through it. We're fortunate that we are able to still sustain. I guess that in terms of sacrifice for our clients, we're not taking any commissions. The current situation. So we are, for us, it's a double loss, but we're looking at long term. The reality is, if we don't have the merchants post this, then what do we do? It's starting from scratch. So I'd rather take the losses now and worry about that later. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because if y'all are not taking commissions, y'all are, that's one of the main revenue points, right?
That's the only revenue point. Yeah. That's the only revenue. Other than that, it's not a charity. But again, like I said, we understand everybody's predicament now. So we're just working with that.
So what are your tips? Because yours is a reasonably large organization, right? Covering all over Malaysia. What are some of your advice for other people running large organizations like this in times like this?
Immediately, I think you need to look if CEOs or CFOs or CEOs need to look at cost lines, start to renegotiate any existing payables they have. Like our office is in Bangsa South. We spoke to our landlord and said, hey, can you reduce it by 50%? And it worked out. So I think cost lines. Relook any temporary hires, freeze hiring, start to have bi-weekly meetings on what are the deliverables, reassess on Friday, Monday have early meetings. Guys, this is what we're going to focus on. That would ideally, to me, be a great place to start, because host this, I think we are developing new skills without addressing it. I think all of us are. I had junior staff today tell me like, wow, can you give me more? I want to take on more. So,
wow.
So we just, I have staff saying, how can we contribute to the to the betterment of this. So I think there's one thing that's worked out is people are seeing synergies that they've never seen before. So that's great also. For large organizations who would for Fave has got about 300 people. We are in 3 countries, so regionally we work as one also. So what works in Malaysia might not work in Singapore, what works in, but so we are extracting best values and sharing it with each other. Yeah.
How are the employees coping up with all this change in a short time?
I'm blessed to be at Fave because they've got very good culture. So Joel, the CEO, is very transparent about everything, showing real EBITDA lines, showing real cost lines, showing the true state of affairs. What are the alternatives? In terms of people, I think we've always been I've been there for a year, almost a year. It's always been a company that's very focused on people wellness. So. In fact, before this, we were having a Fave to Fit contest, who loses the most weight and stuff. But we're still doing it online now. So we communicate a lot online. There's somebody's birthday, everybody links up, and yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So one of the last few questions we have before we finish the show today, right? What's next for Fave?
Whoa, yeah. I think in terms of long-term plans, any startup or now we're in the scale-up mode would want to be M&A or IPO. So but with this COVID thing, I think that has sort of derailed it for the moment. But Fave's in a very good place because we have very, very good thinkers in the company to re-engineer what we are looking at. And like I said, this COVID has given us lots of opportunities to relook our own ethos. So forward is definitely products to address situations like this. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So with that, I think we'll sign off for now. Thank you very much for being here today and sharing all any things that you want to share before we finish.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have a query, I'm not hard selling anything. If you have a query about how I can help you, please reach out to me. It's jake@myfave.com, or you can ask Vyasa how to get in touch with me. And really happy to help out, even if it's just chat. Every day I get like about 20 DMs on LinkedIn, and it's I'm just helping out. Again, like I said, it's you guys can go to saveourfave.com and reach out also, and contact me directly if you need to. And I'm very hands-on. My team is very hands-on. We'll definitely reach out to you guys immediately. But thanks for having me, Yasa. At least there's one good-looking bald man in the house is you.
Yay. So thank you so much. And look forward to work with you on this. I will also pass out any inquiries that comes over.
Appreciate it. Yeah, happy to help. Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.